viewers, both upgraded and old school. I'm Kelby.
I'm Lola.
I'm Emma, and together we three are the Nerd Street Hoodlums.
The notorious Lady Nerd Gang, here to give you unadulterated opinions on all things lady and nerd culture.
Welcome to our next installment in the Summer of Robots summer movie series. This week, well, we were gonna try to find something readily available on Netflix. It would be fun and hilarious to make fun of on Twitter. But in light of recent events, we changed our minds and opted to talk about the 2005 animated film Robots. Namely because the now late Robin Williams did do a voice in it. We considered Bicentennial Man, because obviously that's a movie about a robot, and
he's more in it.
He's more in it. He is the main character, but we decided that would be too sad. Instead, we watched an uplifting film about capitalism.
Yes,
and robot penises.
Yeah, there were a surprising number of dick jokes in this movie, considering it was
a kids movie.
Yeah. Right off the bat, from the beginning of the film, when she's like, "I'm sorry you missed the delivery, honey, but making the baby's the fun part."
And then the sexy saxophone happens.
Where's the extra piece?
You wanted a boy, right? I'm not quite sure what the intended audience for this
I'm really not sure either.
It was early on in the DreamWorks, time, and Shrek had just happened, and it was crazy successful, and they were starting to make Shrek 2, and Shrek was
racy for a kid's film.
It was a little more adult, so I think that they were trying to maybe achieve the same thing, and maybe even try to push it a little further to see what more they could get away with. But it's not quite the same.
I found this movie to be kind of slow. I didn't really get into it until partway through the film, though I will say I really enjoyed all of the scenes that the character that Robin Williams did the voice of.
Fender.
Fender. I thought he was funny. He reminded me of, Batty in
He's
Fern
a little
Gully.
bad in Fern Gully.
His dynamic with his sister robot Amanda Bynes was great too. I liked her. I liked the girl team up at the end. There's no ending I like better than a quadruple wedding. I have to say I did like the overall theme of the movie.
It's not a horrible film.
No.
There's a lot of good messages for kids in there. That whole "you can shine no matter what you're made of" thing, that really gets me.
Yeah.
Right in the heart guts, because it is a good message to send to kids. So as weird and sometimes slow and inappropriate as the movie could be, there the underlying message is really important, and it's really good. We watched this movie because Robin Williams is in it, and we just really felt like we needed to do that. God, this episode is probably just going to end up us talking about Robin Williams and what he meant to us and who he was.
Robin Williams is somebody who, the more I thought about it, I was like, he was in everything that I watched as a kid. To the point that, of course my first reaction was the genie. Yep. Because I have very, very vivid memories of seeing Aladdin in theaters, I think 3 or 4 times. But, and I loved Fern Gully, and then I completely forgot about my favorite Robin Williams movie, which is Hook.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm a huge Peter Pan fanatic, and one of the huge reasons that I am such a Peter Pan fanatic is because I saw Hook when I was really little.
Yeah.
And I think I saw Hook because my stepdad liked it so much.
Yeah.
And I think he rented it for me, or it was on TV, and he was like, "Oh, you should watch this." He also had the novelization of Hook in his office on his bookshelf, and so when Hook wasn't on, I would just go and flip through the book and find parts that I liked.
I remember I started reading at a very young age, and I read all sorts of I read everything I could get my hands on, and my mother had I don't know if it was a biography or an autobiography of Christopher Reeve. And for those who don't know, they were roommates at acting school. And Christopher had all these stories about how he would be up all hours memorizing things. He would be cramming, he'd be working on accents, he'd be doing these things, and Robin Williams would just be dicking around in the background and doing whatever the fuck he wanted, and he'll be like, nah, I got it. And the next day, he would blow everyone else out of the water, and Christopher Reeve would just sit there in disbelief at the fact that Robin Williams could literally just like he'd be like, got it. Like he would everything he would memorize so fast. It was just effortless.
Yeah.
And he would be slaving. And I feel like that would be the best Lifetime movie. Would just be the story of Robin Williams and Christopher Reeve.
I would watch that.
I mean, I loved Mork and Mindy when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like I loved that show, and Robin Williams was the one of the characters in one of my absolute favorite childhood movies, The Adventures of Baron von Munchausen.
Oh, that's right.
Which most people have not seen, but it is on Netflix.
God,
he's in everything and plays such a range of characters, but at the same time, in essence, they're all him.
And I always feel like, at least for me, I feel like every version of Robin Williams in his films and everything, you get those versions right when you need them.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see Dead Poets Society until I was in high school and my drama teacher lent it to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, I needed it. When you're little, you get Ferngully and you get Aladdin and you get Hook and, and then like when you get older, you start getting Dead Poets Society and The Fisher King and
Good Will Hunting.
And it's when you need him to be that. Is when you get it.
I have a lot of friends who are in the comedy world and who, hung out with him. So one of my friends posted, their very first comedy experience in LA. Robin Williams, just showed up at UCB. He always, whenever he would just randomly show up places, and he continued to do so until the end of his life. He would always hang out with the other comedians, and he didn't just keep to himself. And
he didn't show up, do a set, and leave.
No, not at all. That he was always very just welcoming and encouraging, and just a really genuinely nice person.
Yeah. They did a tribute on Good Morning America and showed some highlights of, because he's been on the show several times.
Yeah.
But then they were like, here's some footage that you haven't seen, and it was him just introducing himself to all the backstage crew, and then staying an hour or so after they had wrapped to high five everyone that was outside and hanging out, and he'd take pictures with everyone, and he was just everyone who has a Robin Williams story. It's a good story.
It's a good story. Yeah, I've never heard anybody say a mean word about him. That it's hard to keep up with him because he was a mile a minute kind of person, and he would switch personalities and voices that fast. I mean, you'd see him on talk shows, and he would be like, "Whoa, is this an interview or is this a one man show? I don't know what's happening."
The answer is all of this. He was all of those things.
But that he was just an incredibly genuine, nice person.
And a huge nerd. Loved video games and movies and named his daughter after Princess Zelda. I think that's why a lot of us are taking it so hard, is because he's been with us our whole lives, so he feels like he's our movie dad.
What is your favorite Robin Williams movie?
Mine is Hook.
Yeah, but I also really enjoy What Dreams May Come.
Oh, I loved What Dreams May Come.
I really like that movie. The style.
That's a gut punch. I can't watch right now.
That's a heavy one. Don't watch that one.
I also loved Mrs. Doubtfire when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was really super into Mrs. Doubtfire for a while.
Which gets funnier when you're older. If you haven't watched Mrs. Doubtfire since you were a child, you need to watch it as an adult, because oh my god, the jokes.
Yeah.
So many jokes.
Yeah.
I just develop, as I revisit it, for a kid's movie, there's so much subtlety to what he does. Jumanji.
Oh my god, I forgot about Jumanji!
Jumanji is my absolute favorite.
God,
absolute
the Jumanji is such a good movie.
And he's the straight man in that.
Yeah, he totally is. Such an incredible body of work, such a varied body of work. Even if one Robin Williams movie is not your cup of tea, there's another one that I guarantee you will like, because Jumanji, for example, is nothing like Good Will Hunting.
No, which is nothing like Hook.
Right, or Dead Poets Society.
Or Jack.
Yeah, so
or The Fisher King.
Or The Fisher King.
Oh, Jack. Oh.
Yeah, that's the thing, is the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I've just seen so many movies throughout my life that he starred in, and I just think it's such an incredible loss of talent, and somebody who really was an inspiration to so many people I know, and
and that is what comes out of mental illness and depression, and mental illness does not care how successful you are.
Nope.
It doesn't care how rich you are. it doesn't care how happy you've been between bouts of depression, and that's one of the, it's like addiction in that way, too. Like, it doesn't matter when your last relapse was, it is something that could happen again.
Yeah, I don't want to get too much into my opinions on mental illness because they're pretty strong. But it's an illness. If somebody is cut, if someone has a cut and they're bleeding, you would offer them a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Mental illness is no different.
Yeah.
And if any of you are struggling with mental illness or depression, there are tons of hotlines, which some will put in the box below. You know, it is totally fine to ask for help.
Totally fine.
I know a lot of people are uninsured. A lot of people don't know how to get help. Every major city has some sort of program that can help you get affordable therapy, access to medication. Seriously, Google it, follow the links, ask for help. There are resources.
Yeah.
And you deserve to get help.
You do.
You do.
And by getting help, you're not admitting to any kind of weakness or something being wrong with you. This literally affects thousands of people.
If anybody's going to give you shit for it, you don't want them
in your life
anyway.
You tell us. We
will find them.
And we'll beat them up.
Yeah. I was going to go with toilet paper in their car, but
we'll do that too.
I resort to violence. All right, guys. So got a little heavy there, but we appreciate you tuning in this week for something we felt was very important to share, not only our tremendous love of Robin Williams and his body of work, but also the whole mental illness issue is worth bringing up as well. So, you know.
Next week we'll have something fun and robotic in some variety.
We'll make fun of it a lot.
Yeah. We'll make fun of it a lot, and we'll all laugh, because you know what Robin Williams liked to have happen for people? He wanted everyone to laugh and have a good time. So,
we'll carry on his legacy. Kelby is going away for a while.
Going away, so I'll be missing for an episode or so.
Yeah. But she'll be back, and Lola and I will be here. So tune
literally in this room.
Literally, maybe. Well, maybe.
I don't know.
So keep checking back, guys. Tune in next time, and we'll see you when we see you.